Quick question. How would you round a number up to the nearest integer? If you say int, you are wrong. If you say round, you are still wrong. The answer is math.floor. And I mean round a number down. Right. So what do I mean by math.floor and how does this work? So now that there's a big difference there. So in this video, I'm going to show you why Python math module is clear, fast, and more precise. That writing your own calculations yourself. So before a quick question is why should you use Python math module? So that's a good question, right? So I'm just going to again come here with my string documentation and say why use math module. So why use math module? And the first reason I will give you is precise mathematical calculation, mathematical function. So one functions instead. Then the second thing, or the second reason I would say constants, it gives you access to constants like pi and he. And the third one is it has better performance right here than manual formulas. That's better performance than manual formulas. Then the fourth reason here is this clear, readable. It gives you clear, readable code. So these are my four major reasons why I will advise a beginner or a programmer like you to use Python math module. So normally you might want to say your number, let's use n right here. Your number is equal to 4.7, and here now you want to say the rounded number is equal to int n. So you might think if you print out n right here, see, it is not even rounding anything for you, right? So what do you want to use to do this right here, to solve this problem? So the right thing to do here is to first of all import your math module right here. So when you import math, you cannot decide to say if you want to run this down, you want to use this function called floor, and running this down will just be as simple as saying math.floor then your head. So let's print this now. We are getting 4 because it ran it down. And if this was a negative number, how is it going to be? You can see it's running it down because it is -5 and 9, not -4. Because running my negative 4.7 is meant to be -4. Alright, can see that work for both negative and positive number. But let's say we want to round this up, that's where math.ceil function comes in. Here now, you can now round it up the way you want. You can either say, okay, 4 right here, or you can still print, okay, so ceil, and now, so let's run this through. So you can round it up here, let's comment this out. And if you run this up here, it's 5 and -4. You can see that that still work quite all right. So I'll just go ahead and copy this and show you one more function that math provide for you. So if you want to truncate, you have access to this function. This function will help you truncate. Just truncate it towards 0. That's what it does. And you can be thinking, where can you need to use this in a real world scenario? So let's say you have to calculate the pages needed for an item. You have a variable called an item, you have a variable called items per page. So now you want to know how many pages are needed. So example of that, you might just have to say something like, okay, items right here is equals to 47, and you say items per page is 10. And I want to know the pages needed. So this is where I will use math.ceil, items divided by items per page. Then I can just go ahead and print out pages needed. So I just go ahead and comment this out so it's in these numbers on the terminal right here. So here now you can get that it is 5 pages we needed by rounding it up. And the second reason why you should always use math function is when it comes to the cases of powers and roots. When you want to work with square roots and powers, you don't want to be doing something like this. So most beginners might say like, okay, now a square root now is equals to, let's say square root of 16 is 16 divided by 2, 0.5. This is bad. This work, but it's ugly. It looks ugly. It's not like best practices. And cube roots, and I'll be like, okay, you now do cube roots with something like this. 27, then multiply by, I'm doing something like this, divided by 3. This is actually bad. This is very, very bad. But what you want to do, readable, efficient, and easy. So I can just set to print out square root and cube root right here. Yes, this will work quite well, right? But this code is ugly. I mean, yes, this code is ugly. It's not readable, right? So I can try to say math dot square root. So let's say I'm doing 16. Math dot square root 16, then math dot square root of 25. Can we see how this works? Can we see that this is very, very good? This is cool, right? This will work well. So you can work with cube root, you can work with power. I'm working with something like power right here. Just change this to n. We're working with power right here. We need two arguments. So we need to put like 2, then we put 10. So this is going to be 2 raised to power 10. 10 not 9. So let's see how that's good. We can say now 1024. And we can also have exponents. Exponent is something like this, right? So let's comment that out. So exponent is something like this. So you can easily say math, print math dot exponent here, and we have 2. All right. Can see this will still work quite all right. So as you go ahead and print this now, I'm still getting my answers right. And you can do log 2 by just simply saying print out math.log and I just say 110. So this is 100 is 10, right? You can see I'm getting 2. So my reason why does this matter? So in data science now, you will use log function constantly for normalizing your data and calculating entropy, something like entropy. So and Python is one of the best for data science and AI. So you should know use how to use math model because this will help you understand the basics of how some functions work when you're actually doing it in data science, or yes, the basics and how to implement your function. It just gives you a better understanding of what to do and what you need to do when you need them, and it makes your code readable. I'll prefer to come and be saying something like this than be saying what I wrote initially. And the third problem that math modules solve is constants, which is why we don't ever want to say pi is equals to 3.14. This might be cool, but this is not actually precise. We all know that 3 pi number is 3.142, blah 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 blah, something like that, right? But math actually provide a very detailed constant for us using this. So instead of using that, you can just say, okay, you want to calculate your radius, math can easily provide you this constant. Like just saying, let's just print out the constant and let's just say math.py. Can you see now? This is actually cleaner, right? Math.py, and let's say you want to print out infinity instead. Math also provides you with the constant infinity. The math module math.infinity, just like this. This is infinite. It's printing it out this way, but it still work quite all right. So that's something that you should know. And the fourth problem here is if you are going into game development, physics, or computer graphics, this is where math module is a lifesaver. Like it's actually going to save you a lot of time. It's going to make your code readable. It's going to make your life easy. Something like that. Yeah. So you see that it's something that game developers, PCs, or computer graphics have in common. It's their trigonometry, their use of trigonometry. So instead of you saying, okay, now you can have like angle degrees right here now. Angle degrees, let's say this is 45 degree. So if I say 45 degree in this, you can decide to say, okay, angle radians. So I'm not saying angle radians now, it's math.radians angle degrees. Right. So math is able to convert this degree to radians for me. And with this, I can perform trigonometry functions on them. I just say trig functions. Right. So I decide to just go ahead and say print sorry, math.sine. So my sine, my cost, and good. So okay, let's print more cost, then let's print tan also. All right, so now we have this. Okay, we don't want to do this in the degrees. We want to do this in the radians. That was why we converted it to radians in the first place, and go radians. Here we are, copy this, paste here. So now we can run this again, and you can see we are getting what our desired answer. Right, you can see you can apply this in calculating distance between 2 points in when you are building your games. You might think, why we need that? So when you have an actor, okay, when you have a space shooting game, you want to calculate the distance between the bullet and the enemy, so you know when the bullet actually hits the enemy. So this is actually very useful. And don't forget, that's the end of what I'm showing you here now. So we solve 4 problems using math module. I'm sure we can have more problems that we solve more than that, but in this video we explore 4 problems, and number 4, which was trigonometry. So it makes trigonometry easier for us to access. Then number 3 was constant, I believe. Then number 2, okay, I think number 2 was power and roots. And the first thing we solved was our rounding issues. So these are 4 basic problems that we see that math module makes life easier for programmers to do. All right, so now let's go to the bonus of the day. So what's the bonus point of today? So the bonus point of today is just some functions. So we have some math module functions, like I'll just list them out here. Math.gcd, which is greatest common divisor. We have the factorial function, which help you to find the factorial of a number. I also have the absolute value, right? But this one can also be absolute value just like this. Then we have some special values like this none, or to check if it's infinite. You get if it's infinite, and you can also check if it's finite, right? So these are also some other special functions we have. So in short, math module keep your code precise, readable, and fast. So instead of writing your manual formulas, you look more professional, absolute, and avoid absolute bugs when you write with math module. So subscribe for more Python modules of the week, more tips like this, more code like this. See you in the next video. Bye bye.